Hey there, everybody. This is Taylor with Royal Gorge Anglers in Canyon City, Colorado, the only Orbis endorsed outfitter and oldest fly shop and fly fishing guide service on the Arkansas River, celebrating our 35th year in business here this year. Thanks again for viewing here today. It's April 1st, and no foolin', we are moving into spring prime time on the Arkansas River and all of our surrounding fly fishing venues. We've not only got the 102 gold medal mile section of the Arkansas Freestone, but obviously the Arkansas Tailwater, the South Platte River nearby, and all of our local stillwater venues, which are really starting to open up now. We are truly blessed with the amount of fantastic trout water, warm water species venues, so on and so forth in this beautiful part of Colorado, truly a fly fishing mecca. The month of April is known as one of the very, very best months of our season here on the Arkansas River. The touted Caddis hatch is right in front of us. Just want to round back up on kind of our Caddis hatch timeline every year. Again, remember that it is not a Mother's Day Caddis hatch here on the Arkansas. We term it the tax day Caddis hatch because the Caddis hatch activity, that life cycle activity, truly ramps up around the middle of April rather than the middle of May. We typically see Caddis pupation, emergent activity, begin around April 15th in Canyon City. We're really looking for that 55 degree water temp. Those mid 50s really get that life cycle activity ramped up. And typically from April 15th on, we progressively see the Caddis hatch move upriver based on water temperatures and conditions upstream. The one thing I always like to caution people about is when they hear that Mother's Day Caddis term, many people start thinking about Caddis hatch activity around that time period and may plan a trip too late in May. As a reminder, we typically will see some runoff conditions around the 3rd and 4th week of May on the average year. And so what we recommend is that people start thinking about planning days on the Arkansas River around the middle of April through the middle of May. That's really the prime time for that activity. In addition, we cannot forget that incredible blue-winged olive activity, which has been really in the forefront for the last 2 to 3 weeks especially, but really through the month of March, and we were really leaning hard on blue-winged olive nymphs in late February. We cannot forget that stonefly molt activity and those actively crawling cranefly larvae and the free-swimming caddis, which are in the mix. Remember that this caddis hatch activity in mid-April through mid-May really focuses on a specific caddis, and that is the Brachycentrus occidentalis, what we term the brachycaddis, which is a small case caddis that we have millions and billions of in this river on the substrate, on the rocks, on the any branches in the river, so on and so forth. You'll see them, those case caddis, clinged to that substrate. However, we have over 40 different types of caddis in this river. So we've got free swimming caddis that are very active already. We've begun to see even some of those free swimming caddis hatching. So you may see some caddis out there in early April. That is not the brachycaddis typically until you see that heavy caddis hatch activity, which can become blizzard hatch activity on some days. So again, what we're looking for that caddis activity is the mid 50 degree water temperatures. Currently, we're seeing water temperatures in the mid to upper 40s, and we have seen some low 50s on those really warm days. March was a really warm month in general, very mild conditions here, and April, the long-term forecast in April looks to be a lot of the same. really some dry and warm weather here in the southern and south central part of Colorado. We do have some moisture on the way this weekend in the mountains. It looks like some beautiful fishing weather here in the Canyon City and Bighorn Sheep Canyon area this first weekend and first week of April. Really optimal, cloudy, cooler, more typical spring weather that bodes very well for blue-winged olive hatch activity. Yesterday was a little bit cooler, 60 degrees, cloudy. We had tremendous blue-winged olive hatch activity in Bighorn Sheep Canyon and Canyon City. We will likely see a huge continuation and maybe even a ramp up in that activity this weekend with temperatures in the 40s and 50s, some drizzle here and there, potentially even some light snow showers. That is optimal hatch weather. So for those of you who are seeking out great dry fly weather and equally as good nymphing and especially excellent streamer fishing weather, you got to remember that the best days are those kind of crappy weather days. You really need to understand that. You need to just prepare, bring layers, bring a nice jacket, of course, layer appropriately under your waders, bring some gloves, but get out there and enjoy what can be some of the best fishing days of the spring season. We do, like I said, in the long-term forecast, looks like next week looks very warm, temperatures in the 70s, and we will likely see some ramp up within that caddis life cycle activity within 2 weeks. I, as always, love to show you some fly patterns, so we're going to do that here in a second. I do want to mention here first and foremost that we have a truly incredible opportunity for all of you who love the Arkansas River and our surrounding drainages to truly give back to the river corridor April 26th and 27th. First, on April 26th, that evening, we have a fly fishing film tour event here in Canyon City at Canyon Cinema, a beautiful local cinema here. A lot of sponsors will be here for that event, and that will be a fundraiser that will entirely go back to the Minnequaw Dam redesign project, which is a project that is focusing on redesigning the last lowhead dam between Canyon City and Florence, the last lowhead dam on the Arkansas River that is unnavigable. Okay, so that is an incredible project. We've already got a grant in place for the feasibility study and the redesign work, the architecture work, planning that phase, and we will be progressing to the construction phase, assuming that all goes well. But we'd love for all of you who love this river to come on April 26th that evening. Grab a ticket on our website. You will see those links all over the place for that film tour event, 7 p.m. on April 26th. The next day, we have a great river cleanup with great prizes for those who participate. We'll have free beer here. We'll have food for all of those volunteers and some great vendors like Trout Unlimited and others present to talk to you about projects that are currently going on the river here. So mark your calendars, April 26th and 27th. You can grab tickets for the film tour on our website. Let's take a peek at some recommended patterns quickly for the Caddis life cycle activity, which is upcoming in April and May, as well as continued activity within the blue-winged olive life cycle and our continuing stonefly and cranefly activity as well. Alrighty, team. So as we discussed, really a lot of methods to get it done out there in spring prime time. Month of April and May, truly outstanding months to be on the Arkansas Freestone section. And really pick your poison, Great nymphing, really solid dry fly fishing at times. Some of the best dry fly and single dry fishing you'll experience on this river throughout the season. And then, the streamer fishing is absolutely, one of our go-to methods in the spring as well. It's not only a summertime tactic, and we'll kind of spotlight a few patterns here in a second. Back to our nymphing and dry fly board here. Like we mentioned, a continuation of strong stonefly presence, and that stonefly molt will continue through the spring season. And we'll begin to even see some hatching crane flies, but you'll see that I'll continue to represent the crane fly larva, and that's a kind of a go-to lead fly for us. So to rattle through a few patterns for these lead flies in a double, triple nymphing rig, or point flies for you Euro nymphers out there, we've got some tried and trues that have really been great producers for us already this spring. We've got a wired stonefly here up top. We've got a jigged biot stone. That's a biot stone that we do custom here on a jig. Fantastic pattern for us here. 2-bit stone, which has become probably the most popular stonefly on this river. Super durable and just a great producer day in, day out. 3 tungsten beads on that guy. That's Charlie Craven's. We also like that in a dark. So you've got your gold 2-bit stone here. You've got your dark 2-bit stone here. We've got Stone Bomb here. That's Frank Smethurst's pattern. I love that in the 20 bomb as well. But as we see a little bit more water in the system, I love to throw a rubber leg stone, especially in the afternoons when fish are in more hydraulic riffle water. They're really opportunistic, and I like to show them an attractor like this. Our crane flies, we've got the CZ crane here in olive. I like that in tan as well. And one of our go-tos, Sexy Waltz, the waltz worm. A great crane fly imitation, can double as a stonefly nymph as well. So then as we move into that heavier caddis life cycle activity, like I mentioned before, 55-degree water temperatures, what we're looking for. We can see we've got that initial caddis life cycle, larva and pupa being the emerger in this line, and then we will focus on our caddis dries here in a second. Again, this activity really ramping up around the middle of April and then moving through the month of May until we have runoff conditions. So this caddis life cycle activity will move upriver from Canyon City around the middle of April, maybe slightly earlier this year, like I mentioned before, and then move upriver as that water temperature gets where it needs to be. Usually, we'll see caddis activity in that, Browns Canyon area prior to runoff, but not a whole lot more above that typically, unless we just hold those conditions late into the month of May. Starting with our caddis larva, which has been producing exceptionally well through the month of March and even February. Here we've got bars uncased caddis here. That's been a go-to, similar to our GTI caddis. We've got the caddis roller, which has really turned on as of late. That's been a great producer for us. These are both in size 16 here. We've got our feeding caddis, which is that case caddis look. So we've got the case caddis with that caddis peeping out here. We've got the pooter pupa, which is our first emerger pattern here to note. Very similar to a graphic caddis, tungsten bead, but that pooter pupa has been a great producer for us, size 16, 18 here on the Arkansas. We've got Kelly Gallup's UV pupa, one of our go-tos, what we call the snot fly here. Just a great producer. Got a kryptonite caddis in amber. We carry it in all colors. This is Juan Ramirez's great caddis pupa. This one kind of more of that brownish olive, and then, great in the chartreuse body as well. You'll find them both here at the fly shop. And then Euro nymphing style caddis pupa imitations that are just great general attractors. We've got the Caddis style olive thrasher here at that number one position. And then we've got our blowtorch, of course, which is just one of our staple flies here. And this one's in the hare's ear color, but we do like it in the black as well. If you're fishing these for caddis, they want to be in the size 16, 18 range. Non-weighted caddis pupa to be fishing in the film behind a dry fly, kind of in that first 6 inches of the water column to the surface. When you see a lot of heavy caddis pupation and hatching going on, see fish dorsaling rather than open mouths, or if you see a good mix of fish feeding on adults and pupa, a great fly to throw behind a dry. This is Gary LaFontaine's deep sparkle pupa. We've got the graphic caddis here, John Bars, which is a tried and true excellent emerger pattern. Moving on to our blue-winged olive imitations, we've got a really great mix here of just dropped my tweezers, grab those real quick. A really great mix of blue-winged olive nymphs here, which will continue to be excellent representations moving through the spring season. And we continue to catch fish on blue-winged olive nymphs and emergers through the summer season. They're always present in the Arkansas drainage, and these are just go-to patterns for us. So do not quit fishing blue-winged olives as soon as caddis activity starts. You want to be prepared with the full life cycle of caddis, and you want to be prepared with the full life cycle of blue-winged olive. So let's touch on that. Thread Frenchie, which is a Euro style fly, really been a productive pattern for us this spring and will continue to be. A great little Perdigon style fly here, which is called a matchstick. That's the olive quill version there with the copper bead. We've got Shea Gunkel shot glass Baetis and olive, just a tried and true go-to pattern here for us in that blue-winged nymph category. Moving into a weighted emerger, this is the WD-50 with a gold bead. It's been a great producer here on the river for many years. A non-weighted emerger, this is Juan Ramirez, his Jedi Master in olive. We love it in purple as well, size 20 and 22. We've got a McGruber here, which is a great little CDC emerger style fly. And then finally, UV Emerging Thunder, which has been really our go-to blue-winged olive emerger here this spring and really the last several years with that foam back, okay? So that's the blue-winged olive nymphs and emergers. Moving into our adults, both the caddis and the blue-winged olives, which will both be present through spring prime time, through the month of April and May, until runoff hits us in, say late May, early June. These will be go-to dry flies to have in your box. We've got, first and foremost, a mimic caddis. I really like the mimic caddis and the pint caddis, both foam bodies, black bodies. We got the CDC, all black fly. It's really easy to see, especially I like it on sunny days, which is when you're going to see a lot of hatching caddis, hatching brachycentris caddis on those bright bluebird, sunny, warm days. You've got Larry Kingery's Better Foam caddis, which is the wrapped foam body, just so much better than the black pewter baw caddis. It doesn't flip over on its back, rides a lot better. So that's the Better Foam caddis. One of our just staple patterns. We've got a fin fetcher caddis, which is also a foam body, but a parachute style here. Moving into egg layers, we've got a standard traditional egg laying caddis here with that green butt. And then we've got the X2 caddis, which is an excellent low light fly. I really like to fish it maybe behind a small chubby, but it again has that kind of egg sac on the back as well. Fish is great, little submerged as well, great fly. Then we've got our spent caddis, which are really what's left of the bug after they're done mating in the willows, the females that come back to the water or residual male caddis out there, really just kind of the wings, what's left of the wings and body. So we've got a rage cage caddis here at the bottom, and then we've got the sitting duck here, which is the CDC style fly. Okay. And then on our blue-winged olive dries, we've got parachute, high-vis parachute blue-winged olive here, which is really a go-to fly for us. We've got our Rocky Mountain mint with the purple body here, with that elk hair post. I really, really like that pattern. We've got a olive haze, which has that kind of olive flash body to it. You can see there, this has been a really, really good pattern for us this spring. We've got Miss Keller's cripple. This cripple's been a really, really strong producer for us with picky fish here this spring, which we've had a lot of with how low and clear the water's been. Will continue to be a great producer for us, but maybe a great fly to throw behind a caddis dry. And then we've got another great picky fish fly with that extended body, and that's the blue-winged olive parawolf. That extended body parawolf has been great for us. These are all pretty much in size 20 here, but those are your blue-winged olives, okay? So those are our go-to nymphing patterns, full life cycle of the caddis, full life cycle of the blue-winged olive. So those are our core nymphing and dry fly patterns. All of these, again, available in store here or on our website. As we move into 50 plus degree water temperature, which, currently here on April 1, we're seeing water temperatures more in that kind of mid to upper 40s typically. But as we move through the month of April, in the middle of April, we'll start to see those mid 50 water temps, which gets the caddis activity rolling, but it also exponentially ramps up the streamer bite. We've already had a great streamer season here in early spring with brown trout fry emergence. We've been fishing a lot of, say, your Dalai Lamas, your conehead barely legals, a lot of olive or black and white imitations. Our Chicago overcoats have been fishing really well, especially in thin mint and that black grizzly color. But we will really start to fish some larger flies here as we start to see hopefully a little bit more water in the system. We'll start to roll into our circus peanuts, especially in our natural and black colors, which are go-tos here. Of course, our Gallup's Mini Dungeon series, which is probably our most popular fly here in the fly shop. The Micro Dungeon series, which has been such a fun fly to fish. That's a newer fly last year. We've got black, natural, and olive here. And then, I'll start to fish these really big flies too, and you can see my hand in reference. These are 10-inch long flies, 8 to 10 inches. So full-size dungeons are kill whiteys here, really popular in the olive and black. And, your Silk Kitty, which is Gallup's new pattern last year, was a really great producer for us in the summer. So we'll start to fish some larger flies and fish some doubles, fishing a large fly up front and a trailer underneath. It's a great opportunity to get you into a larger fish. And as that caddis life cycle activity ramps up, fish start to look for that movement. They key on that movement. They love to eat a fly on the swing, and a streamer is a fantastic way to do it. We have one of the largest streamer selections of any fly shop in the state of Colorado, so make sure to make it a point to swing by and check out the streamer wall and talk through some rigging and kind of approaches for streamer fishing on the Arkansas and really any other watershed you enjoy. Alrighty, folks, so hopefully a look at a few of those core patterns is helpful to you as you kind of pull that mindset together on what we're going to be focused on here for spring prime time. again, we've got a lot of opportunities for different methods out there in the month of April and May. You've got a continuation of great nymphing productivity really throughout the day. I mean, you can nymph fish throughout the day, and obviously the core moments for that are in the morning when those nymphs are most active. Of course, as that caddis hatch activity begins to build in mid to late April, we'll certainly be focusing on that middle water column. So that emergent activity, and whether that means running a tractor dry and then dropping a beadhead caddis pupa or caddis larva into the kind of that midsection of the water column, or nymphing with those bugs that we mentioned. You can be effective with both methods, and it really all depends on where you're seeing fish. I mean, I would tell you as a guide that understanding where fish are at in the water column is going to tell you, which method is going to be most productive. That's pretty simple when you think about it, but, really understanding that and coming to terms with which method will be, most successful for you there is key. So nymphing in the morning. All right, everybody. So hopefully, alrighty, everybody. So hopefully a look at some of those core patterns is helpful to you as you start to kind of pull together a mental mindset for how to be prepared for the Arkansas River freestone here in the spring prime time, that, April and, first couple, 2-3 weeks of May. It's key to understand that it is a continuation of blue-winged olive life cycle activity. Caddis obviously kicking up here in the middle of April and moving into the month of May. And a continuation of stonefly activity on the substrate, cranefly activity, and mixing in those streamers. So it's a variety of methods, and that's what's great about this river is it's not just a nymphing river. You can go out there in the early spring and especially in April and May and get it done with a variety of mindsets. It is important to first and foremost understand where fish are in the water column, and various times of day, that may mean that they're glued to the substrate, especially in the morning if it's more activity within that nymph population, whether it be caddis larva and free swimming caddis larva, BWO nymphs. You may need to do a little bit of dredging beyond the bottom, more nymphing, whether it be high stick nymphing, euro nymphing, or indicator nymphing. Obviously there's a great selection of flies that we showed you there, and here in the fly shop we've got over 500 different nymphs to choose from. So and then it may mean midday, as the water temperature gets up, that those fish push up in the water column, mid-water column, subsurface film, and then later with adult hatch activity, likely fish will be on the surface. So you understanding and visually, diagnosing where fish are, that's going to be key to you doing well. And then adjusting your rigs accordingly, right? So we've got our nymphing, obviously. We've got great dry dropper opportunity, even if you wanted to run a small chubby or a water walker and then run a heavier, Euro style nymph like a blowtorch or a thrasher, mid-water column, or maybe one of those, caddis pupa, weighted caddis pupa that we discussed. That's a great method. If fish are mid-water column, that's a great way to get that fly in front of them. You could continue to nymph and just slide your indicator down, just shallow that up a little bit. And then obviously, if you've got egg layer caddis activity or hatching caddis, or blue-winged olives, that's pretty easy to diagnose. If there's enough fish on the surface, we're making that change up and getting on the surface with a single dry or a double dry rig. And then the streamer fishing, that comes anytime you want to do it, really. Obviously, we've got some phenomenal upcoming weather for that, with cloudy, kind of cooler, maybe drizzly conditions this week in particular, but you can fish a streamer anytime on this river and do well. It's just a matter of how you move and present the fly that really matters. And if you want to learn more about any of this stuff, we highly recommend that you book one of our guides for a half day or a full day out there, wade trip. We're starting to run floats now if we have enough water. Continuing on, we'll talk for a moment in a second about conditions and where we're at with that, but highly recommend hiring one of our fabulous guides here in spring prime time, or getting one on the books for the summer season. We're already getting very, very busy in the summer season. So great instructors, first and foremost, and that's the key. Those guides are out there advancing your skill set. It's not just about catching fish, it's about becoming a better angler, and that's what's different between our guides and some of the other guides out there that you'll hire. So highly encourage that. We are the only Orvis endorsed outfitter on the river. A little bit about conditions and where we're at currently on the Arkansas River freeze zone. Flows are right around 350 CFS currently. Those flows will likely maintain. We may see a little bit more, contribution from Twin Lakes and Clear Creek Reservoir here in the next month. That typically does occur. We'll see a little bit more water movement as irrigation begins to happen downstream, but likely we'll see those flows anywhere from 350 to 550 CFS, which is really an incredible zone for this river. Flows were very low here through the month of March in the 250 CFS category. And so having a little bit more water in the system is really helpful, allows fish to spread out a little bit more, and will still continue to foster great bug activity. And now that we're beyond our rainbow trout spawning and brown trout fry emergence is kind of, behind us a little bit, these flows, anywhere from 350 to 550 are excellent for wading, excellent for floating. Float fishermen like to see flows for 400 plus, and that's where I in particular like to float. But very doable. Okay. As far as snowpack is concerned on our river right now, we're right around 70% of average snowpack water content wise, so right around 70% water content average on the Arkansas River Basin. We may get a little bit, some padding here this weekend. Hopefully we will, but likely it's going to be a lower than average snowpack year as we move through the month of April and into May, unless we just get blindsided by more moisture, which we would encourage. But, I would tell you that we're really setting up for a fantastic fishing season in general, with maybe a slightly lower than average snowpack. Maybe it's average, but not crazy. We don't have that long extended runoff period that we had even last year, with really high water. Likely we'll see very manageable conditions return to the river in late June. Once that heavier snow melt gets started in late May or early June. And so we could have a very extended season based on tacking on a few more days early on, which would be great. We will still have plenty of water in storage for those late season hot summer days in August in particular. So we should be in great shape to keep flows, where they need to be when the water's getting warmer, to protect the trout population and protect the fishing out there as well. Allow us to continue to get out there and have a lot of fun without harming the trout population. So things are looking great. We encourage you to stop by the fly shop or call us with any questions, 888-994-6743. You can shoot us an email anytime at info@royalgorgeanglers.com. And we have a chat line, obviously, on our website. Please, all of you that can, attend the April 26th and 27th events, our fly fishing film tour on the 26th and our river cleanup on the 27th. Lots of great giveaways and prizes and different things going on with that as well. Come support this drainage if you love it. We encourage you to do that. Thanks so much for viewing here today. Let us know how we can be of assistance in spring prime time. We hope to see you in the fly shop or on the water sometime soon.